is you gotta time it well, and they timed it well.
Yep, very sharp timing. Oh, JB even found Super Prince. All right,
camera.
He's mad.
Oh, they want to watch this in the gold lane. Yeah, we're not getting away from that.
But I don't know, is JP angrier at ONIC or himself? So far, it's a great start, man.
Hey, that's what you got to do here. After what we saw in the previous one.
Way.
Yeah, it's fine. And Turtle's up for the taking. Look at the lead. This is the fastest or the biggest lead, I think, throughout the series so far.
Sanford with the forward flicker, looking for that grab early on. ONIC, better for it, not even thinking to take that turtle, conceding it over to Liquid.
Yeah, King can't farm as fast as Carl TZ. Dude, it's a 2-level gap between Carl and King Kong already. Just goes to show how fast Team Liquid are doing their rotations. And again, the pick in the middle really set things up for starting the pace here for Liquid.
Say what you will about Carl DZ's questionable plays from time to time, but he is still #1 in EXP per minute in all of regular season.
Lah, dipanggil Cina.
In EXP per minute.
Yes.
I was waiting for the sound effect, but
Told you.
that's the thing, man.
Can't
Like,
escape it.
yeah, and if you can't escape the fact that he's gonna get that lead, he's gonna get that momentum based off delaying King Kong, but you know, so it puts King Kong in a position where he just has to catch up, and I feel like he's doing that. Obviously, he's trying to close the gap. They might not take some of the next fights even, and that's why TLPH trying to make a play here.
Oh my God, projectiles are projectiles. Oh, I'm dropping the 7 force. Another arrow thrown out. Kelra barely surviving. Dashing back. Here comes Super Prince. Point blank. A better airstrike. JP caught in the crossfire. Down goes OHEP. The Filipino Savage joins the fight. They rejoins the fight. Flickers forward and gets OHEP.
Can't blame Team Liquid Philippines for making that call. The targets look good, but Sanji left the arrow.
Prince stayed a second too long. And the cavalry clap back.
I feel like that happened earlier when we didn't get to see it in the mid lane. Like, same thing. He probably stayed a little bit too long and then gets caught. I'm not sure if it was by the arrow as well, but again, the Selena seems to be playing a big part already in the early game.
And they got to balance it out, and all of these stops mean that Carl TZ just keeps getting farm and keeps expanding the lead between him and King Kong, who is up top trying to get farm, and there's a lot of focus down bot.
Magic arrow catching Kirk. Kelra firing back underneath the Zappin force. Luckily for the Super Fam, that turret stands. Turtle spawns lower quarter.
Okay, Turtle's up. Gotta watch out for these arrows, man. That's always the thing. Even with Sanji, the first time he's bringing it out throughout this season, seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And so right now, they'll just kind of face it off with King Kong.
Gets caught by a shadow kill. 1v1 with the young goat.
Carl TZ finds King, and this should be a turtle for Liquid.
Yeah, this is, the lead builds even more. He's gonna be spotted by Kirk. Carl just make his way down to the turtle after getting that kill up top. So even furthering the lead that he already has against ONIC Philippines' jungler King Kong. This is not looking good for ONIC Philippines right now.
Everything has gone right for Liquid. I was skeptical of this Selena pick, but again, just smart rotation, good timing between JP and Sanji. Carl going wild.
Coming in over that shadow. Forcing response to Super Prince. Better airstrike. JP very low. Third Poisson's out. Sanford catches the bead. No losses per side.
A little bit of a push happened up top with Kirk, trying to get that turret down. He should be able to get this as he clears it out. But yeah, that's the thing. You're seeing when those fights happen, it's just ONIC Philippines lacking the damage, right? Obviously, they're down by a few thousand gold, and that's going to be the case. We'll see this. Look at this. You might get caught. Kirk might get caught here.
Connecting the
Just slightly more gold.
Oh, no. JP delaying the jump. Forces out a flicker from Kirk. In comes the rest of ONIC. King Kong dashing through. Sanford and JP. The conceal by Liquid disengages.
And as we saw right there at the end, back of my, it landed!
Massive arrow! Keeping Super Prince in place. Flickered wings by wings out.
An entire season of not showing Selena. This could be the hidden weapon of Liquid. So Kelra and OHEP continue their duel down bottom. Kelra has switched to the Wesker.
Oh, don't tell me. He's going to go for it.
The shotgun! OHEP face the flicker! Kelra does it again! In comes Sanji, looking for the punish. JP jumps on the Kelra, finds him, takes him down, and trying to keep him down. They will find their man.
And that's just, Kirk had no choice. King Kong can't go help either because he's just trying to catch up.
Not worth it in the end, 2 for 1. Arrow lands.
Another one, JP jumps in, calls it a shadow kill on a Brusco, popping that ball.
Sanji, oh, he's in trouble.
King Kong dashing through, Super Prince with the assist, down goes Sanji. Sanford, JP, going for more. Can't find it, turtle spawns.
It's getting really scrappy. Teams forcing out trades and skirmishes across the map. The right play to make. And still, at the end of the day, it's the Hayabusa in the lead against the Joy. 12 to 10 in levels. Another turtle slain by Liquid.
Clean on the board on the turtles here, 3 for 3. And it's gonna look like even that first Lord, unless something miraculous happens for ONIC Philippines right now to catch back up, is gonna be an objective for TLPH. Look at the difference here.
2,200. Hunter strikes straight into the BOD. No wonder this Hayabusa hurts like crazy. Conceal in the mid. Is Liquid gonna find someone? They will not force the issue. They're also playing around the arrows. Look at where Sanji's positioning. He wants to toss his arrows into potential flank areas.
Oh,
Spotted out.
Brusco bouncing ball out of here. Sanford pushing through, bombs away. Kelra, cover fire for the rest of ONIC. In comes a bouncing ball, the full combo from Kirk. Sanford's very low, Liquid back. In comes King Kong, dashing through. Way too many bodies from Liquid here. Salmon Force dropped in, and another arrow. Immobilizing Kirk. Liquid, skittish from that last game. And they find Super Prince Sanji. Bullseye!
Arrow after arrow from Sanji. Is this the secret weapon? Is he the bow and arrow for TLPH?
The Monster Mage showed off his skills with his Selena, but the chef is cooking.
JP and OM find King! King Slayers these two are, and Sanji keeps Kirk at bay.
TLPH just doesn't let up. This is that Stampede gameplay we've talked about time and time again, and right now it continues on. They balloon to a 7,000 gold lead under the 10-minute mark.
Liquid can continue this onslaught. They still have to be careful with their execution for the next couple of sequences, considering that they are up against the Badang. The damage output of the Joy will be enough to put a dent in the armor of Liquid, maybe even punish them if they are not careful. Just no other slip-up, similar to what happened in the previous game. Continue the discipline that they're showing, the timing of JP, Sanji, Sanford together. You can see them talking and timing their entries. Keep that up.
Another shadow kill by Carl Tizzy, putting multiple members of ONIC at low health.
Look at that, Sanji was ready to toss the arrow right away. Brusco had to block it, good sense, but Liquid will get this Lord with no problem whatsoever.
Just another objective under TLPH. And with a lead like this, now 8,000 gold, they should be able to march towards the base of ONIC Philippines, and you've got King Kong scrapping for whatever he can, and these arrows will continue to scout things out for TLPH. Look at the disparity between the items here, even at this point.
Struggle here for Kelra, only up to a Maleficon. Of course, all of them packing the Rome Boots blessing, so the lowest gold holder will earn a gold every 5 seconds.
And the XP.
And the XP, yes.
Catch up Brusco again. Every little bit of kit you can get when you're behind helps. So leveling up Brusco's skills could help you claw back from this 8,000 gold deficit.
That's so tough to be in here. Pete's gonna be popped. Oh.
Shadow kill coming through, and a defensive use of the bombs away from Kelra.
If there was
Liquid are knocking to the base.
If there was a voice pack you could add there, it's Carl Tizzy simply going boo, boo.
There we go. Lord charging in. They're going to lose some turrets, lose some shields here too. They might force this in a little bit further. An arrow.
In comes 40. Dropping the 7 Force. Oheb can smell blood in the water. Kirk goes down. Underneath the 7 Force, they're still going. Brusco goes down. Sanji gets a double. The Super Fam are in shambles. The Lord's still standing. Oheb gets taken down. Liquid might not want to force the issue.
And Liquid, another arrow land just to add insult to injury. Sanji on point. The arrow that landed on Kirk that opened up the picks for Liquid really set the bar.
Are they going to push this one in? Mid turret going to fall down. Waves pushing in on the bot. even with a lead this big, TLPH will take the discipline round and back off for now after getting the 2 base
Nah, itu
turrets.
hari-hayanya ada juga.
I have to say, this is a must-win for Team Liquid Philippines. If they still somehow lose this and they slip up, ONIC going to match point 3-1 after a massive turnaround. Consider the Immortal Cup already in the hands of the gods of the game.
Hari-raya
Kong?
King Kong looking for Sanji, finds him! I think Sanji just understood that he was out of breath, like he was not supposed to be there.
Yeah. To this fate, that's one slip up. They can't afford any more. That's shut down, although not massive. Let's see if Liquid can minimize their losses. They still have the item advantage, the damage advantage, the map as well.
Basically every advantage at this point. Lord's going to be up at 30. They might get a turret down here. They're going to go ahead and charge things up. Conceal's going to be used.
JP looking to engage. Easy throws out the shadow. Salmon Force from OHEB. Super Prince already spent. Defender strike. No ults available for the Super Fam.
What a reaction by Kirk. He was so ready to bump the car there. To fist bump him, almost started a chain reaction that could have meant Carl Teasy got taken down, but it didn't lead to that. Liquid, though, because of the 2 towers they've broken in base, now have the Lord. Looks like they're going to blitz it, but ONIC might just be crazy enough to contest.
Hints of hesitation from the Super Fam as Liquid bursts down this Lord. Carl Teasy in the back line, holding the line. Free objective for the cavalry.
And this is where we find out if ONIC Philippines can stay in this game, facing down a massive deficit. Items are not where they need to be for them just yet. So they're going to have to pull something out of the hat here to stay in this game and possibly turn it around. This is going to be a massive win for TLPH if they can get it on this push here.
On the other hand, Team Liquid Philippines have played this game so well that Liquid losing this seems like such a massive impossibility at this point.
Save for the actually winning moment. This is the largest gold lead we've seen all series long.
Yeah.
So Liquid holding on to this is massive.
The Lord's up. Conceal's going to be used. They're going to punch this one into the base. Kelra trying to get some space. They got to deal with this Lord and manage it here.
JP jumps onto Brusco, bombs away from Kelra. King Kong dashing through the Salmon Force, the answer from OHEB. Lord still standing. Down goes Brusco. The base up next on the docket. Down bottom, King Kong going 1v1 with Sanji. The base barely up, 10% left. And Liquid have equalized. 2-2. Hold on, folks. We're going the long way around.
This ain't the chef anymore, the lone stallion with the rest of the cavalry. Good night, exit light, that's the Sandman coming into the field.
The arrows were on point. Sanji bringing out the secret weapon. Let's go ahead and throw it over to the panel to break it down.
And again, we are down to a best of 3 with the best of the best. Team Liquid Philippines put on the fastest game so far in the grand finals in the backs of Sanji, which for me, if TLPH wins, a potential finals MVP, because 11 and 13 was Sanford MVP, and I think it's time for a San duo to have it, if ever TLPH wins, but just like that, 2-2 again, Brigida.
Yep, and imagine, this guy is also our game MVP after bringing out the Selena. And in other terms, I'd say saving it for this moment. He never showed this hero, or barely showed this hero at all to all of us, but now he suddenly brings it out in the grand finals in a very crucial moment to shift the momentum, to shift the tides in favor of Team Liquid Philippines. And again, we did mention it earlier before we actually entered the game that it has to be played aggressively. It has to be played in such a way that it'll just constantly disrupt whatever intentions ONIC Philippines will have. And that is exactly what we saw. Brusco here felt like he couldn't even jump. He couldn't even look for a target because every now and then, he'd have to worry about all these abyssal arrows.
I mean, a strong start.
There you go.
From Team Liquid Philippines, to the point that the cameraman couldn't even catch up with the action because a lot of isolated clashes happened. A 2-0 strong start for TLPH, and this is actually one of the games that Micro was the main point. Speaking of Micro, there was a Kelra solo kill onto OHEB. Imagine seeing the shotgun again in action in the hands of the Beatrix. And not to mention, Carl was able to even solo kill King Kong. And of course, when you talk about Micro, It's all about the arrows from Sanji.
Yeah.
The monster mage had a taste of his own medicine. Imagine you're a Farzan just walking up, 2 consecutive abyssal arrows connects, you're bursted down immediately.
There's no way you can survive that. Not when you're on a flicker. Not when you have barely any resources to actually sustain such amount of burst damage. And even during these last few sequences of the game, you see he had to willingly use the flicker mid-feathered airstrike just to make sure that the abyssal arrows will not land onto him, just to make sure that he can maximize the amount of wave clear that he has, because they were that desperate. They had to do this much in order for them to hold on to their base. But Team Liquid Philippines, they did not let up. They made sure that they were able to end things at that moment. Because, yes, you did mention it. We saw the Wesker after quite some time. And those are options you can pick up, especially when you know that you are in the lead, when you can move a little more freely around the map. But when you're left to defend, it has to be the Nibiru, it has to be the Bennett. And Kellera had to use or shuffle between those two options just to get the game past a little longer, get past the 15-minute mark, and that didn't happen. Again, Team Liquid Philippines just forced their way through.
Yeah, honestly, even if Kellera had 4 guns at the same time, it couldn't stop the onslaught, the attack of the cavalry in the final push. Every single member of the cavalry played their parts well. 6-12 kill scoreboard. A flawless KDA even for JP Sanford and Carl Zizi, who put on a show for game number 4. And again, we're back to 2-2. And I just can't hold on to the fact that imagine you're in a high pressure situation and Sanji puts out the Selena game 4 and he pulled it off. I mean, I'm not doubting it because we saw the game heroics of Sanji yesterday with the Farsa. The fast buy and sell Wintercroft plays to be able to come back from a potential loss up against Team Falcons. And now TOP is just showing the defending champions that what you have, we also got it.
And actually, for just the second joy game we've had from King Kong throughout the playoffs, it felt shut down again.
Yeah.
He barely could do what we usually would think King Kong would be able to do when he's on the joy. The fast juggling wasn't that much.
The turbo juggling pattern of the real Sigma King Kong. That was so long.
That was so long, but that was something we did not see at all, because the BPI rich guy of this game is actually Carl TZ on that Hayabusa. We'll be looking more into how he was able to establish this much of a lead later on, but that's a 911 GPM. We barely see that in this game because, again, the games tend to go a bit longer than usual, but this is one of the fastest games. This is an absolute stampede that we saw from Team Liquid Philippines.
Comeback game from Carl TC after losing 2 Hayabusa games up against ONIC Philippines in upper bracket finals. But Brigida, please explain, what the hell happened in game number 4?
Oh my goodness, a lot actually happened. A lot of arrows, a lot of charges coming in from Team Liquid Philippines. But in order to dissect it a little further, we'll be starting in from the gold difference timeline once again, which, if you would look at closely, barely went or absolutely did not go in favor of ONIC Philippines. They had to take their time so much, and especially considering that Team Liquid Philippines, they were just able to secure the first turtle without all of their level 4s. They didn't go for the standard rotations, which made sure that they were on their level 4s before they actually took the objective, because they were preparing for a team fight whatsoever. They did not. They actually just went full aggression, threatened the members of ONIC Philippines, zoned them out so well that they were able to burst down the turtle without any problems. And this aggression was led by JP and Sanji. JP, he kept on pressuring Kellera in lane. He kept on pressuring the other members of ONIC Philippines so much to a point that they actually had to respect this Baksha. And it's not like we've seen instances wherein the Baksha had such an easy time before. There were a lot of times where in teams, they just built lineups that could directly punish the Baksha. You commit a mistake, you do not get to land on your key targets, then you can already say that you might fall in the hands of your opponents. But that was something we did not entirely see happen to JP, because he was just that much on point and accurate in terms of whoever he wanted to target on the Baksha. He applied so much pressure, and just that brief amount of time that you allow or you provide Sanji to actually land another arrow, it was just chain CC and an additional layer of burst damage over and over again coming in from Team Liquid Philippines. Now, speaking of the pressure that JP did apply throughout the members or towards the members of ONIC Philippines, there were direct responses necessary from them. If you would look at the item build so far, Kellera, he actually decided to first opt for the Sea Halberd before anything else. This was the item that he went for first because, again, JP was just so consistent. He had to constantly hunt him down, and he did secure this in less than the 5-minute mark. So they somehow had ways to answer back, but not even this was enough because towards the 7-minute mark, you could already see the 5K goal lead that was existing between these two teams. That was just too much of a lead that you could definitely feel how Team Liquid Philippines just wanted to play it so aggressively. And I feel like it is most evident in terms of the jungler pickups or the jungler item pickups, the Hunter Strike, the BOD, they were already intact for Carl TZ. Whereas if you look at King Kong, it's only the Starlium side that he's able to build so far, and then his Holy Crystal came in at around the 12-minute mark. So it definitely took a bit more time for ONIC Philippines to feel more comfortable, to feel like they could already hit, or they actually already hit their power spikes. So that just enabled Team Liquid Philippines again and again to play this game as aggressively. And we really have to give it to the mid duo for setting things up, for making sure that the tempo would be heavily in their favor. Now we look at the draft recap for Team Liquid Philippines and ONIC in this most recent, in this game number 4. Team Liquid Philippines, despite the bumpy draft that they had in the first few games, they're actually favoring the red side. So this is probably one of the examples in which we see Team Liquid Philippines playing to their strengths. 36.6 total crowd control time for Sanji in this game, which is actually considered as the shortest game we've seen throughout the series. And it has been a very reliable Selena for Team Liquid Philippines to just constantly go in and not be as afraid of ONIC Philippines and their potential to counter or punish, because it felt like Brusco had no choice. Brusco and Kirk, it's their responsibility to keep their members, to keep their teammates safe. And whenever they actually did get to catch the arrows, then it was difficult playing as a team who was playing from behind, because it means that there is a high chance they actually get to poke you down low enough or even burst you down.
You know, I still can't grasp the fact that the total CC time of Sanji with the Selena was 36 seconds. If you'd combine the Madang and the Kufra, Sanji was still ahead by a lot of seconds, and that was just that just goes to show how Sanji performed in game number 4.
The amount of crowd control Sanji had in that game were mostly converted into kills. If you were to look at the amount of crowd control combined by Kirk and Brusco, they weren't necessarily converted into kills. It was just more of them holding down the members of Team Liquid Philippines so they can't play as aggressively, so they can't just fully commit in the fights, because if they didn't do that, then there is a high chance the game would have ended way faster than it did.
More of a defensive crowd control compared to what TOPH was showing. And now the scoreboard 2-2. You know, we're so used to the grand finals of MPL being a 4-1 or a 4-0, and last season it was game 7, and I think we're in a route to replicating what happened last S14 between ONIC Philippines and Aurora. Because so far I don't even want to predict anymore or say anything, because I can't see who's gonna win.
Honestly, I do not want to predict anymore.
But we had to at the start.
We did. But
If you were to change your prediction,
I don't.
For me, I won't.
I won't.
I still believe in the Sonics.
Mirko already did the curse.
Or could be a mere bless.
Or it could be a mere bless. It depends. It depends. But the way it's looking right now, the series is evened out. So it's literally back to what?
Best of 3. And we saw them with best of 3s. The first half of the regular season, TOPH was able to sweep ONIC Philippines, and in the second half, it became game 3. So I think they're going to replicate it again, but of course, everyone wants to see a game 3 win or lose. The action here in the Champions Arena is just so much. Again, I can already feel Our stage here, our mini stage here, the English desk.
Panel.
English panel, sorry. Vibrating, shaking, as the drums, everyone. And you can see not everyone is seated because of how jam-packed Champions Arena is right now.
You need some time to breathe.
You need some time to relax.
You need some time to get out. I mean, the venue's pretty cold, so they also might wanna warm their.
You even have your own blanket.
I even have my blanket. I see the players while they're playing. It's weird, but you know, when they die, they tend to like warm their hands a bit with hot water.
I think we have to warm our hands for a bit right now because we have to pass the mic to our lovely host. It's gonna be Hans and Jamie. Take it away.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. It is 2-2 ang ating score para sa Grand Finals. Nasa likod namin ngayon ang Super Fam. Of course, together with their country manager from ONIC Philippines, Sir Rafael Sanchez. Boss Raf, bihira lang kita makausap dito on cam, but I wanna know, because this is a really important milestone para sa ONIC Philippines. I believe this is your first time representing the Philippines in MSC, correct?
Yeah, correct.
What is the significance of this? Anong ibig sabihin nito para sa iyo at para sa buong team?
I think yung significance kasi ng pagsama ng MSC kasi is, to be honest, yung pangarap namin magkaroon ng Golden Road. So yun yung gusto namin ma-achieve as a team.
I like it. Golden Road being achieved by the Philippines dito sa ONIC Philippines. And I like it. The Super Fam likes it. I want to know more thoughts coming in from Jamie over here. Jamie, kamusta?
Thank you so much, Hans, and you can hear it. I am here at the camp of the cavalry. Let's go! Yes, you know what? We have Mr. Daniel Santoso, who traveled all the way from, where did you travel from, Mr. Daniel? Jakarta, to be here to witness the games. You know, it's an important day. Now, Hans just talked about how important it is for ONIC Philippines to represent the Philippines at MSC. What about you? How important is it for your organization that you have the representatives for MSC and MWI? How does it feel?
It feels truly amazing. I'm very proud of all of the players and all of the hard work that they've done, and being able to represent Team Liquid in, you know, the World Esports World Cup means everything to us. Winning is everything, and we're here to prove ourselves.
Winning is everything, and they are here to prove themselves. Hans, what can you say about that?
Now we're talking about winning this time around, Jamie. So I think this begs the question, Boss Raf, why is ONIC Philippines more deserving of this Season 15 title than Team Liquid Philippines is?
Well, to be honest, either or of us are deserving. Because I know that the players of Liquid and even also on ONIC are very hardworking. But in all honesty, for us, every international championship that we've joined, we've won. So I think we deserve MSC.
Every international championship is an instant victory. Jamie, what do you have to say about that?
Well, if that is what Mr. Sanchez says, Daniel, I want to know what your thoughts are. Why does Team Liquid Philippines deserve this win today?
Well, I also agree that, you know, both teams are deserving here. We're very grateful that, you know, we have these rivals that we've fought through, that we'll continue to improve ourselves. It's not just about winning today, it's about lifting the MLBB scene for the world to see just how much passion, just how much work that all these kids do, and we're just here and really happy, really proud for everybody, and made it best team win today.
I love that answer. May the best team win today.
Like it. Such a sport, Jamie. I like it. Now, with that being said, Boss Raf, nanggaling tayo sa ONIC Philippines. You've been with the team for the longest time already, and you've watched the Super Fam grow. There are a lot of people supporting you and the entire team. Right here and moving forward sa MSC, ano ang mensahe mo para sa lahat ng sumusuporta?
Sa totoo lang, gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa amin. all to our loved ones, our fans, and the family. There were times na it was the hardest for us, the challenges that we overcome. But we're happy that no matter what happens, you've always stick through us. Actually, it's not even just the Sonic fans, but I would say everyone here in who is an MPL PH fan in general. Thank you for giving us more reasons to work hard. Thank you for giving us all these reasons to show you the best that we can. And thank you for always making sure that you guys are supporting us with all your heart. So thank you, everyone.
Maraming salamat din, Boss Raf. I want to know, vibe check from Super Fammer, the Sonic family. What time is it? Everybody's alive. Jamie, kamusta naman dyan?
Daniel, you heard his message for the Super Fam. What about you? What is your message for all the ones supporting Team Liquid Philippines tonight? The ones who are here at the Champions Arena and the ones at home as well, and all over Asia and the world too.
Yeah, no matter where you're from, I'm extremely grateful for all of the support the fans are. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fans. Whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in Indonesia, you know, the community is what we're all about. Look at this. The amazing community that we have is just amazing. And I think for all of the players, they would feel the same. I just want to say, let's go!
Let's go!
Let's go! Let's go!
There you have it, Hans. Let's go!
I like it. Buhay na buhay ang Champions Arena. We started off in a best of 7, and now it's only a best of 3. Who will take the next 2 games for the championship? Let's throw it back to our battle.
What time is it? Let's go! What time is it? Let's go! And it's time for our next matchup. And before all of that, I'd like to thank organizational heads. Imagine, they're so uplifting because the passion that they share with the fans is... Yeah, you can clearly see it, and shout out to Boss Raf. That was the most professional way to trash talk your opponents. I know that we both deserve it, but we deserve it more.
Yeah, every time we
win,
go out,
yeah.
or we join an international tournament, we win. So it's something that we definitely deserve. But Boss Dan on the other side,
Yeah.
it's about
He took
uplifting.
the higher road, yeah.
Yeah, it's about uplifting.
Yeah, he thinks both deserve. It's uplifting the scene, and win or lose, they're gonna represent the Philippines anyway. So, props to them again. Fortunate that we have such very passionate organizational heads for the side of ONIC Philippines, Team Liquid Philippines, and the rest of our organizations here in MPL. But now, again, we are faced with the fact that our best of 7 just got trimmed down to a best of 3 once again.
They've been able to even out the series again and again. It's even out the series again and again. It's not necessarily just reverse sweeps happening here and there. It's
No.
literally alternating games. No, not exactly alternating games, but you know, like
1-to-1.
it's a
TL, ONIC, TL.
ONIC, TL. So
Yeah, but the point is, you get the point. You get the point.
You
It's
get-
evened
you
out.
get the point. You get the point.
And now things will change. Momentum will change as we enter the drafting phase of game number 5. Let's call on and ask help from the man with the biggest counts here in the Champions Arena, Redmar. Let's go.
Really glad you said calves there. Okay, Liquid Philippines. Fans out the fanning the Kaleo. Pick off. Interesting. Okay, I think these are 2 teams already showing that they want to play for the Harris Granger trade, honestly. I mean, no, for ONIC, it's due diligence. They take away the Matilda, but Liquid have their eyes set on the Harris Granger trade now.
seems like at least for the past few games, Team Liquid Philippines, they will be going back to the blue side indeed. So one will be taken out for their last ban here. So yeah, majority, like most of the gold laners are still available out there, and so are the previously banned heroes. Such as the Lucas Jushin, there are still potential options here. Still, ONIC decided to ban out the Baksha instead.
Recently, one of the heroes ONIC had to respect was even the Chip. of JP that can pop out anytime soon, or if they want to get from the cells from Brusco, could still be an option. But apart from that, among the first pickable heroes are still here, and they still decided to ban out.
Wow. Oh my goodness!
It's his turn now.
Redmar, what are the chances of TOPH doubling down with a Luyi chip pink?
I've always been a believer that Luyi chip is extremely overkill. I, for one, see that TLPH are more willing to now pick up either Luyi Hayabusa or even Luyi Fredrin in the jungle.
That seems like a great way. I feel like there's been a game in this series where Team Liquid Philippines felt how difficult it was to have a lineup with no hero to manage the side waves.
Predicts.
So there goes the Fredrin alongside Luyi.
Badang.
Oh, they didn't get banned out. No.
Oh, yeah, of course. They need to go to the first phase with their Granger already picked up.
Going with Reach once again for the Filipino Savage. Kelra goes with the Granger, and it's the second time this series we're seeing a Luyi chip present in both of these teams. So final pick for ONIC Philippines. Still no jungler here for King Kong.
Yeah, and they can pick it later. However, because I mean, it's not like Liquid are gonna ban Ling and Lance and Hayabusa. They're gonna only ban one of those. Most likely, this will end up being an assassin in the hands of King Kong. So they go for the Kimmy first. Okay, all right. Kimmy has popped up a bit as a soft response to the tanky fighter junglers.
And all that. It'll be a lot easier to complement the Kimmy with the chip too, especially with the recent adjustments made on this hero. Once you do get in, you have a way to immediately reposition and not just put yourself in danger. So these picks so far from ONIC, they're so heavy on damage, and you can expect like a very reliable output from them heading into this game.
We know that Kimmy is good paired up with Gaton Kacha, the two combos, ultimates, but with the presence of Luyi on the side of TOPH, that might be the best option for ONIC Philippines on the XP laner right now. But they do, however, take out the Armut that can be paired up. As you mentioned, you guys have been calling this combination that can pop off in unchecked.
They take out the Falcus too, although for Sanford, I believe the Blue and the Turizla, there's still options that they can consider heading into the second phase, considering that there is again a chip in the lineup of ONIC Philippines.
Most likely a Glue Badang trade. Considering that ONIC has the chip, they might be more encouraged to pick up the Badang. Because the Badang would absolutely mess up the chip lineup. So let's see if that's going to be the case. With the ban of the Hayabusa, Lancelot is the last best jungler available for King Kong. They might pick up the Lance here, and then they'll just adjust their EXP laner depending.
There you go.
Lancelot for King Kong up against Fredrin of Carl TZ. Major throwbacks experience here again. Whoa! Okay.
Oh, that's a big counter to the Kimmy. We played this early. Okay, pull back the Curtis. We played this early in our ranked games. Courtesy of, I believe it was Midnight of the Lolita role playing it earlier, and he just kept reflecting it.
Yeah, and the best part is if you reflect.
Oh, and Leo was Clue, and it was really good.
You can pull. You can reflect the traction pulls and it'll still pull the enemy, so it's like you're having a Kimmy on your side. And Midnight actually mentioned this previously that in the backstage that players are actually exploring now the Lolita rope because of the resurgence of Kimmy in the mid or in the gold lane. And Kirk responds with a Sanford. With a Sanford,
yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, BOS stands for Body of Sanford.
Body of Sanford.
He's been the only guy playing it so far, so I understand. I went through that too. They banned the OHEB.
Yeah, but no, so far I think we have more than two debut picks in the playoffs here in the grand finals. The crew from the Lolita. Now game 5 is fast approaching. what can you say about the swerve again for the side of TOPH?
I'm so excited for the Lolita, honestly. We'll finally be seeing it once again. And it's gonna counter so much. I feel like even Kellera has to be wary about the presence of the potential skills that will just come back to ONIC Philippines later on whenever they do engage in a fight. But at least for King Kong, there's probably only the energy eruption that will stop him from dancing around the members of TL.
Down to a best of 3 in the grand finals. We there, bros. You got this.
Thank you very much, panel, and welcome back to the desk here. It's been nice to Leo and Renmar to bring you the action.
So far, previously unbeatable weapons out of their arsenals have already tasted defeat. Now a new weapon enters the fray, the Lolita.
Need some dominance ISIS up on board here for ONIC. Actually, even for Team Liquid, there's a lot of shields going around, spell vamp going around the two lineups. Super Prince has Rupture, Wilderness Blessing. Okay, standard with emblem builds.
Yep.
Could be a difficult one for King Kong, but at the same time, I see a universe where this could actually be an okay game for him. The question is, how is it going to fare for the rest of ONIC, considering, again, one of their biggest tools in the Trojan Pulse of the Kimi could be reflected back into them. The basic attacks of the Kimi could be reflected back into them by the Lolita.
Yeah, JP's pick here is going to be crucial for TLPH, but I will say I am rather happy about our current meta, and that down in the grand finals, we're still getting debut picks.
It's so wide open.
Yeah.
Again, there are games wherein you swore it was badangable. Nary a shadow badang shows.
Yep.
And Selena.
Yep, it's such a throwback again. Fredrin, man, just straight up back at this point. Even Manila too, Baksha too. When and when are the Banes and the Barretts is gonna come out?
Oh, don't get me tingly. I'm glad that Stanford's back, you know?
Yeah,
There's a reason why that penalty zone was such a game changer a couple years back.
exactly. And Body of Sanford is a fantastic passive ability. Allows him to survive. So let's see if that's gonna come into play as Sanford on the glue. Is getting pressured just a bit, but no ganks. Oh, ONIC are giving up this first hurdle.
Sanji flickered forward, spells the blood and freeze, Phantom Execution, the answer by King Kong, puncture it, and the first block drawn. The lone stallion falls, JP, where's he going? They were all just playing faint because Liquid, they were working on the Lord, Turtle.
Liquid gets the turtle. That was a risk that Sanji was willing to take by burning the flicker.
Yeah, added to the Oxford Dictionary earlier this year, the word gigil. Now officially an English word, not just in Filipino. Search up what it means, but that's what Sanji showed there. Too much gigil, way too expensive. Costed his flicker. He forced the flicker out of Super Frizz, but they gave a kill to a hero that they did not want to give a kill to.
Yeah, so going back to the whole point about King Kong, in this game, specifically on the Lancelot, getting an early kill like that, probably is going to give him a little bit of confidence and room to work with now to go ahead and scale up the way that he wants to. Early game even, and they'll have to play around it.
And the items, Molten Essence Trade for Karl-TZ, of course, so that he could farm a little bit quicker. Busco might get caught out. Shortcut.
Easy answered by the shortcut. There's his up and forth. Shot by Kelrock. Razor's Wrath. Shut down Brusco. In goes JP. That's a quick turnaround for Liquid. Down goes Kirk and Friends.
That's one bonk and then two bonks that come through
The
with this
giant
composition.
bonk. Oh my God. Numenon Blast. It hasn't been a minute. It's been a while, so I guess timing fights with it isn't natural. Kelrock coming in 2v1. Brusco to the rescue. Liquid backing out.
I will admit, I have been desperately crawling in my memory banks to remember the ultimate of the Lolita. So I'm glad that you said it. The Nyum Nyum Blast. Oh, Friends!
Friends gets popped here. Who would have thought that there was enough firepower between a friend and a Louis this early?
I wonder how many people have literally looked at that ultimate and tried to say it.
Numenon is an actual word, by the way. It's not made up.
It's not made up. Wasn't created in the way it was done. But that's essentially, you saw the interaction between having an Appraiser's Wrath, having the Neuron Blast available to you. There's a whole lot of area that ONIC Philippines does not want to get caught in.
Lo, Yi, and Lolita, along with the Fredrin all together. The supplement a strong backline gold laner. We are so definitely back. King Kong misses, so does Kirk.
Oh man, Kirk committed the penalty zone there. And it's the same play, look at this. Liquid go for the turtle one more time for free.
They don't want to go for these objectives. They're going to diversion now up top. They're in a threat here for King Kong's jungle.
Oh, I could have sworn they had ill intentions for the king there. Let him go. Scot free.
I thought, like, once they saw that the orange buff was pulled or it wasn't there, it's like, hey guys, maybe we should try invading this. But no, they didn't want to waste the time to check and confirm it. The grand final pocket pick, the last time Lolita was played in the grand final match, I remember this so well. Season 11 by then Echo Roamer. Yowie versus Blacklist International, if I'm not mistaken. That was in game number 2.
Yowie won.
Yeah.
That was the season they became champions.
Yeah, and of course that Lolita for then Echo. That Lolita was what costed them the season 10 grand final. So wait, King Kong.
King Kong could be in trouble. Phantom Execution's on out. Carl's easy though.
Kirk looking for an entry. Carl's very low. Penalty zone once again. Summon force by Kelra. Now goes Brusco. Straight up for Carl's easy 1-for-1. The exchange. They got a 2-for-1. Kirk. Mopping the floor with the Stanford. Super Prince goes down. Oheb finds him within range. Kirk still wailing away. Glue versus Teresa. Teresa versus Glue. This could go on for days. Here comes Oheb to finish the job. Kirk, where are you going? Kirk, POS doing its job. Finally he bites it.
Man, the body of Smith, the body of Sanford will help you, but not enough to deal with the bullets from OM.
He took a lot of time. The Team Liquid Philippines eventually got the trade they needed to get. They will not be able to convert it into a tower. Maybe they can. Sanford with the zone out, and they do get the major trade, not just with the bodies, but with the towers as well. Liquid solidifying their lead and control in this game, number 5.
Oh, the diversion. They sent Caldizi out. Just enough time to spot the purple take by King Kong. ONIC are holding on this mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, they're going to be able to hold on to that, but this turtle, I don't know if they're just going to give all the turtles up here. King Kong working on his orange, but this is just blitz, so that's going to be 3 for 3 in the turtles for TLPH. We'll see if ONIC Philippines wants to go ahead and contest that first Lord once it's up, but right now, turret, it does go down in the bottom lane, so they at least put 1 on the board. ONIC Philippines will have to go ahead and scrap around with what they can, because it seems like, again, they're just kind of at the whims of answering to this aggression that TLPH is thrown at them right now.
Yeah, King Kong's been able to farm up well, but again, there's only so much Lancelot can do in the sequences. The only time he actually got to get a kill was that early aggression by Sanji, over-aggression, which in the big picture of it all was actually just chump change they were willing to give to ONIC. Now they might get this tower in mid.
Coming in, penalty zone from Kirk. Kelra with the Zaman Force. Brusco pushing the rest of Liquid back. They've cut through the formation. Oheb backing out here. Numenor blast forward. Super Prince gets caught. Oheb gets a kill. Now goes Kelra 2. 2K for Kiel 1. The diversion by Sanji. Covering all the bases. Liquid don't want to take no prisoners. Sanji and Caldizi pushing King Kong out.
This is a problem right now. Oheb is online, locked in, 5-0-2, and just gets the BOD.
Numenon blast in the clutch again for JP. After that error with the chip earlier in the series. Previous game, it was the Baksha. This game is the Lolita. Daddy JP has been showing up for the kids.
He is a man on a mission. He will not let his legacy be tainted by that chip. One more look at that gameplay here.
This is so good. Again, the shortcut comes through, but that Numenor blast stops them in their tracks. And that really wasn't the shortcut angle that you were looking for in that exchange anyway in the mid.
Yeah, add to that, the taunt by Carl.Dz to solidify that kill and that win in the center. ONIC are still very close in terms of the resources. They have items on Kelra, very far away though from the Holy Crystal. He's still on the Starlium side and the Feather of Heaven, so it's gonna take a lot of time. Super Prince as well is struggling with the items. They have gold, money, damage on King Kong, but they need significantly more. They're gonna give this up.
Yeah, the Lord's for the taking here. I'm not sure if ONIC Philippines really wants to contest this. It's being blitzed down though.
Brusco with a good seal, coming in from an off angle, sets up the shortcut. Lord still in a very perilous position. Retribution unneeded. Sanji scores it, and Kirk here gets pulled in. The grab serves up another snack.
Diversion.
Diversion where they sending it right behind Super Prince! Carl Teasy and the gang finds him! Mr. 2K helping baby cakes! Double kill for Oheb!
7-0-2. Oheb to some, kill one to others, to his enemies, the last thing they never see.
To Brigida, the Oheb. And now in the mid lane, they're going to push in a little bit further. The shields are going to pop. And this is a moment. Still, Lord is up. TLPH, how are they going to continue on this? And ONIC, what do they do here?
They split push. Look at King Kong here. Committing Grand Theft Purple, pushing that tier to the top. And he needs to get back home. That inhibitor is in jeopardy. Look at the back line here. Numero blast one more time. No flicker. In comes Brusco. Shortcut coming through. Sanford trying to clear this spot here for OF to fire back. Down goes Brusco. Trade off for Sanji. Carl Teasy very low as well. JP gonna bite it. Bulwark able to save it for just that much longer. A winning trade for ONIC, but they do lose their inhibitor.
I asked what could they do, and that's exactly what they did. They split push, they come in with a shortcut, they get a double for King Kong, and they get some much needed gold in the hands.
Yeah, Kirk and Brusco, who both have radiant armors to boot, and an anti-cuirass on the Terizla. They opened it up, they gave ONIC that opportunity, and it was a brilliant follow-up from the Super Fam. As JP was forced to commit his flicker out, he could not use the flicker Numenon Blast to turn the fight around. He had to use the Numenon Blast defensively, and ONIC just waited for the animation to end before they entered, before King Kong got his double kill.
ONIC pulled the trigger at the very right time. If that fight happened underneath their tier 3 turret, and when the Numenon Blast would be favorable for JP to pull, it would have been over. Like, there's a world I see where this is done.
Yeah, it definitely could have been, and with that, it was a good response because they chose that fight once they saw that opportunity. And it's always the case, like anytime we have a Louis and a Chip on these teams or on the playing field, you know that those ultimates are going to be crucial here. Once again, the diversion has played a part. It's even good for faking things out, but so is that shortcut where Brusco has to be a little more calculated with this. So items, are they looking pretty good for ONIC now?
Yep, already with the Holy Crystal on Kelra, so Team Liquid Philippines have to be more strategic with how they take their fights to ensure that they get to put pressure onto Kelra. Super Frizz actually built up a Demon Hunter sword. Again, there are elements of Kimmy's kit, most importantly her abilities that also scale with physical damage as well. And of course, we know with Kimmy, the more attack speed you build onto her, she does get more magic power as well.
Just a winner of an item here for Super Frizz might provide that power spike they're looking for. Help them maybe contest. I don't know, man. I'm not in a position to say if they should, because that's a good position for Brusco.
Yeah. See how they do it. He's actually he's gonna get spotted out. Okay,
Zigzag.
Shortcut.
Couple of big ticket walks though. Brusco's going the long way around, man. This is a Pamela angle. Oh, rest of Liquid. Popping the bruiser. And look at this ONIC. This is a clear go sign. When the cat's out, the mouse goes play. Sanford gets that grab on the King Kong. 4v1. In comes the rest of the cavalry from the back.
Here they come. He can't get away. Still going to be worked on. Sanford now half health. They just go for the Lord. It's been started up by Carl Teasy. You know, Super Frizz will keep Sanford at bay, but they have no choice without Brusco to just get ready for the defense.
This time around, as they score another one.
The Apex Predator held down the line. And back to see what Brusco did. He could have used that that wide walk to go somewhere way safer. But it felt like that was telegraphed. He wanted to try to pull the attention of Team Liquid, which he did, to force an answer so that they would commit the diversion to him, which they did. ONIC just did not have enough resources to bliss down the Lord as Sanford stuck with the Lord. Team Liquid Philippines telegraphed the move that ONIC wanted to do. Great MOPP by these two teams.
And it's just showing how much these teams know about each other and about high-level decision-making. ONIC Philippines is going to have to make that happen here as they defend full force into the base. You saw Brusco off on the side, though. He might look for his angle here on the back line.
Dropship boss already spent up. Kelra, the Salmon Force, massive DPC here. Sun G gets taken down. JP barely alive. Look at the back line here. Oheb blasted away at King Kong. Down goes JP. Kelra getting 2 so far. This is looking like ONIC have picked a good fight. Liquid just back out here. Down goes Sanford.
And with that defense, ONIC Philippines will find 3 kills and stay in the game.
Liquid gets nothing.
Brusco with the gank. The Bruiser coming up big time. Bruises do heal, but the emotional damage from what he did just now does not. Oh no! Oh no!
Here comes the rest of them. It's over. Another Shaman Force underneath here too this time around. Kelra takes down Oheb and Cole Daisy to boot.
All part of the plan, says Brusco, as Redmar was just talking about it.
That was aftershock.
Liquid are turning purple, black, and blue. Brusco, 2 massive shortcuts, massive plays on the chip. I thought he stood there for nothing, but he was able to get the shortcut off in time. Just as he was going down, as we look at the instant replay, this was the gank. Conceal, flicker committed, Oheb got space, but Carl Tizzy was busy with Super Friends. He used the Appraiser's Wrath, but Super Friends already flickered before that. Sanford went in, last shot to King Kong, but Oheb could not help him out as Brusco was covering Oheb's sentry. And now ONIC have made this an even ball game. This could go anyone's way. The towers lean towards Liquid, but if they have another massive error again, then ONIC might run away with it.
Again, we'll find ourselves in this position where ONIC had to crawl back at one point. They've done that, and now they have evened out the field for this Lord take here in 10.
They've been so good at breaking up Liquid's formation. As soon as I saw the traction pulse not get hit by the bulwark, and Liquid just go, okay, we'll still go anyways. That was a clear sign that ONIC was comfortable. And when ONIC is comfortable, you better not be the opposing team because they tend to do things like this now. ONIC, not even looking at the Lord. This should be a singular sign of something's up.
Something's up here. You see how much threat Kirk has too because of what just happened at base defense. He was able to get the penalty zone on multiple members, so TLPH has to not be sure they don't clump up because that's exactly where Kirk wants to go, especially when that flicker is available. So they'll go ahead, have it reset for now, grab the buffs that they need, and then get ready. You can see Counter's holding on to that purple buff for now. And this could be a game-winning Lord, really, at this point for both the teams.
50-50. Brusco staying with King Kong with a split push, so just in case someone decides to gank up there, he has backup. Chip can get here fast though. Sanford holding the beacon.
Oh,
they're going.
Here comes Brusco, wide walk, plus a shortcut, flicker spin. Lumen on blast underneath, does not stop the Sigma Jungler from taking the Lord. Black and yellow, this major objective will be. Liquid still alive, the rest of ONIC as well. JP jumping through, looking for that bug. Divergent up from the back line. Not much of a play. Sanji Sanford can make from that angle. King Kong answers with a Thorn Rose. Nothing phased ONIC.
No one goes down in that whole interaction, but the Lord ultimately secured by King Kong.
King Kong, of course, one of the major strengths of the Lancelot. Press Thorn Rose and you are out of the map for a moment. And there were so many things going on that he was in a safe retribution spot. At this point, I would not be surprised if you told me that King Kong was made in a lab somewhere.
Hey, back in what? His debut was a season 9, season 10? Well, season
11.
On TSC, I remember when he was making those retributions back then in his rookie season, we were saying, and look how he's performing now, you know, up to this point.
That's a world champion you're talking about.
That's a world champion. But we saw the potential back in the rookie season, and right now, it's ONIC Philippines with a huge momentum leading into the base of TLPH. Lord's gonna charge into the top turret, they'll hold it together. Kirk has the penalty zone, but no flicker. So they might just try to get turrets for now, not try to force the game win push yet.
We've seen many Lolita defend from inside their base and clap it back. So this is something ONIC respects very well.
It's one massive Numenon blast versus one massive penalty zone. Kirk landed a really good one there in that last fight. Didn't lead to kills, but it gave ONIC the win in the big picture. More minions coming in for them, and they continue their siege.
Great base is going to be worked out still. Waves are pushed in, but I think that's all they get. Gentlemen, this is just going to get the top turret. So this is going to be a long game. This is going to be one of the ones that goes the distance here so far in the series. Next to the next Lord, it's a minute away. But we could still see what we saw back in, game 2. When you have a Loyi and a chip in play, they can go for a surprise factor. Are there anything that could happen here with the items? I know they're not completely locked in.
Okay, so the Rose Gold Meteor from OM is a great item choice. Counter decided to go for full damage. No Blood Wings around here. Concentrated Energy, Divine Glaive, even the Wishing Lantern. So that Rose Gold Meteor will come in the clutch for OM. For how much, we'll see. JB now just built up an anti-crash, should help with the damage output a bit of King Kong, and it even reduces a little bit of the damage output of the Kimmy, again considering that the Kimmy ability scale with physical and deal physical, that will proc anti-crash stacks on the Kimmy of Super Friends.
I'm impressed that Kirk isn't building any damage items, like not even a war axe.
Yeah.
Like he knows he's a penalty zone machine.
He's just the guy to jump in. You know,
Just a guy with a big hammer.
just a big hammer.
It's just a wall.
You know, you go through life sometimes. That's a burden itself.
Whoa, what?
Sounds so real. Are we still talking ML?
Yeah,
Man.
talking about Kirk here, man.
Ah, yes. I like how that was great, but now I'm getting quite reflective and overthinking everything. Anyways, ONIC still sticking with his formation of 2-3 with Brusco hovering around where King Kong is, playing on the possibility that King Kong might be able to split push as the objective is up. Good control of the shrubs, good formations from both, although Liquid Philippines cannot play the same spread as ONIC. They have to play close, they have to play tight. I think if they can force a very early engagement by ONIC, that should be their turnaround point.
Bots are up here, so we'll get to go with the purple. King Kong is going to go grab the orange, and TLPH working on theirs as well. Both roams going to be playing a crucial part here. JP too, if he can get a Numenon Blast with the flicker available, that could turn the tide of this fight, and that's why it's going to be they're going to take their time with this, and they continue to do this. We saw ONIC Philippines pretty much do this all game. They'll go ahead and plant King Kong alongside Brusco up top on the longer portion of the map, and I would say that's a minor advantage. You know, they have that long lane, whereas instead ONIC only lost that mid turret.
Yes, and to add to that, Onyx kit, what they're threatening Liquid with is a surprise from an off angle. You can only cast Numenon Blast from a certain angle. If Brusco finds you from the behind, that's so much harder for JP to recover from.
Okay,
Unless he flickers back.
Yeah, it's the Euro step.
The Euro step.
Euro step fade away 360 Numenon Blast.
Yeah, made popular by Ben Things.
Yep.
But again, it's easier said than done.
You also have to consider that the Guardian's reflection of the Lolita does reflect the basic attack of the Harith, and also as a projectile. So that might come into play later on. I think, again, besides the Numenon Blast, it's really the Guardian's reflection that ONIC want to play around. But their damage output is so great at this point that they burn that Guardian's reflection so quickly.
Right now, we'll see if they can. This Lord hurts.
What is this positioning? Conti is holding the shrub. I think they're going to try and set up either for a diversion or a conceal play from that middle shrub later.
Yeah. They'll try something they haven't tried all game long.
They put Contizi in a roam style positioning to try to get vision for his own purple box. Like, I'm the roam now.
I think you just kind of have to. Like, you got to get. We were in this position a couple games ago where you just got to get creative, you know. And it was unfortunately it was the other way around. So right now TLPH, they'll just kind of see what they can get, the information that they need here.
They're flushing Brusco out.
Yeah.
They would rather face Brusco head on and then force a respond with a shortcut, because so far ONIC doesn't like that. ONIC doesn't like when shortcut comes in as a reactionary ult.
Yeah, they're looking for the chip first. That's why Brusco decides to back off. ONIC shifted their position into something more defensive, because they know that if they can find Brusco, they can use the diversion to quickly get back to the objective. Sanford can hold on for as long as he could against that. Now a shift again, a long dance around the map, not just around the objective pit at this point. The top minion wave though. Let's see if Liquid will try to find a way to leverage that, knowing that ONIC knows that Liquid wants to control that.
There could have been a fight breaking out. Prince threw out a traction pulse. Odd.
Maybe that's just a chance. You know, like, if I grab someone with a traction pulse, then great, we can maybe start this up. But they'll start the Lord up anyway for now here.
Yeah, 40 has vision. 40 knows that ONIC wants to dance. ONIC is beckoning Liquid to respond. Lord here at less than half health. King Kong is not in vision, so even 40's looking for him.
Yeah, and ONIC are very smartly holding the middle shrubs because they know if ever Liquid are on the other side of the map, that is the most likely shrub Sanji would want to enter. So they're also denying the potential of a diversion play through there, and I think Sanji's thinking the same way.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, fantastic macro from these two, managing the minion waves, trying to play around their big ticket transportation, teleportation ultimates. And now TLPH are trying to force a reaction. They show themselves up top, but ONIC are not biting the bait.
They're not going to bite the bait here, man. Sanford is just able to go ahead and plant himself, give the vision.
Welcome to late 2022. Lord dances would go on this long. This is the normal tempo of a late game Lord dance. What's going on? Diversion? Just a feint. Wonder if ONIC saw that.
Kirk got to see it. Actually, since Kirk went in there, Sanji decided to call it off. 1,156 Skypiercer stacks on this Granger. It's not a question of does O have a damage, it's more of a question of does TLPH have enough to hold on long enough, considering that the late game magic damage scaling of the Kimmy and Harith was making their front line crumble relatively quickly.
Yeah, this is probably the most stalemate we've had. I feel like maybe in the playoffs even, but definitely this series where neither team can really give it a go. You know, they have such big macro ultimates available to both of them that they really have to be decisive on it. And that's the thing, when you're looking at this.
Brusco,
Why walk?
are they? He's trapped.
Oh no, Bruce was trapped. He's gonna need the help.
There's retribution. Michael's easy. Numinal blast. Here comes the rest of ONIC. They pop Bruce's immortality. Here comes the Zaman Force. And the sling from the puncture. Down goes Carl Teasy. No trade so far. Liquid finding it hard. Look at the back line. Another catch. Brusco will go down.
Oh, Brusco goes down. Sanford immortality gonna be popped. Look at the
They're setting up a split push. Him and Sanji. Rico's coming through. Here comes Kirk first. Super Prince flickers forward. And the base goes. Textbook vintage Liquid.
To go back to the 7-year history of our league, Liquid vintage. And it's not just vintage, it's signature for Liquid.
Oh, they came out of the stables and went with their own stampede. 3-2 right now. Let's throw it over to the panel to break down the game.
I mean, look at the Champions Arena right now. What just happened? Oh my God.
The DNA, Redmore has been saying this all throughout. The DNA of Team Liquid Philippines. Still in there. The split push. After, how long was that? 24, 25 minutes? 26? Imagine you had to endure a long game like that and you would lose to a team like TLPH via split push when you were already able to take down 2 members of the cavalry.
It looked so good for ONIC Philippines, like that entire last sequence where they could have clearly punished Team Liquid Philippines' attempt to take down Brusco, but oh my goodness. Again, it indeed wasn't a question of whether or not this guy already has damage.
Yeah.
And I fear it wasn't neither holding out long enough for this guy to deal out the damage. It was buying enough attention so they could utilize his damage in other areas and in other ways to close out the game.
And that was through a turret crystal push in the middle lane, set up by the diversion again of Sanji. Our game MVP is the regular season MVP of S15, no other than the latest addition in the cavalry, OHEB. with an amazing game. Started out strong. Even came to a point where he was at 8-0-0 before he got taken down in a crucial moment. And all throughout, you can feel that the momentum has been shifting. The pendulum kept swinging. You really didn't know who was winning. It started out strong with TOPH with an aggressive start, despite Sanji actually getting hit by the first blood. And you can continuously see JP very active with the Lolita, not just with the Bulwark shield, but also two consecutive Luminal Blast that set the tone and aggression of the Team Liquid Philippines.
Yeah, and Sanji, you did mention he was the first blood, but that was an exchange of the objective. It was an exchange of the turtle that Team Liquid Philippines got earlier in the first few minutes of the game. And eventually they were just able to hold on to this lead that they had. There were so many beautiful Luminal Blasts coming in from JP throughout the, I'd say, up until the 10th minute mark. Like this moment, more or less, because this was when ONIC was able to look for a way to clap back. This was when they were able to slowly gain control over the map as well and limit Team Liquid Philippines in terms of what they're able to do. And this was the play which actually maybe not just even down the game, but put it a little more in terms of ONIC, in terms of the advantage. Yeah, ONIC Philippines felt that they could play things a lot more aggressively than they were able to do so in the past few minutes because of that play, but we have to look closely on how the decision came into play for TLPH. Sanford bought enough time, and just when you thought that they just walk towards the base, once you take down Sanford, you could already end the game because that Hanky member is already gone for a minute. They just decided to use a diversion all the way to ONIC Philippines at their base.
Now right straight to the goal, and if we were to hear a mic check for any of the games that we will witness today, I would surely pick this one. What were the comms? What were the comms of both TLPH and ONIC? And looking at the game time, 26 minutes. Actually, the previous game was an anomaly. 14-minute game. Even came to a point where in day number 3 of the playoffs, we were already at 5-hour runtime for all the games. So it was a relatively close game, but in the end, the decision, the decisiveness of TLPH to really go for the goal, sacrifice Sanford, go for the diversion play in the middle lane, split push, resort back to their DNA and to their old tactics to beat a god like ONIC.
If it were, or if this game ended in maybe less than 20, less than 15, it'll be all about the Lolita. It would have been all about the Lolita. Like, we would just be talking about the Luminant Blast, we would just be talking about the Guardian's Reflection and the way they're always able to deny ONIC Philippines and the amount of damage that they have, but it went past that. It went way past the 20-minute mark. So this boiled down to macro, this boiled down to who was the more efficient team, who made the better and the right calls in that game. And it merely was a wrong call for Team Liquid Philippines that ONIC could be capitalized on, but they just bounced back. They just regrouped and said that there is another way out of this.
DNA, their DNA champion is still there. Their comp composed up against a team like ONIC Philippines. If the game were to end by the third Lord, one of the few standouts would be Curtis. Kurt kept them in the game despite the two Lord pushes of TLPH. He also had 2 consecutive 4 or 5-man penalties to even out the score, and as you mentioned, give ONIC a slight advantage. But again, our BPI rich guy, no matter what he says, it's still gonna be the Filipino sniper, Oheb.
Yeah, the Filipino sniper who barely died in this game. I think at most 2 deaths. Yeah. On the Granger, who was just heavily protected. He always had the Lolita by his side, and there were heroes in ONIC's lineup that were reliable to actually hunt down King Kong had to calculate his dashes. He had to make sure that he wouldn't be put in such a dangerous position, even though he wanted to carry that out.
Yeah, and I think the camera's gonna pan back out to us, but no, not us, just you. So Brigida, take the floor again.
Alright, so that's me. Now the next few segments will indeed be a deep dive regarding what took place and what happened in that game. And starting off once again, I feel we have to take a look at the goal difference timeline, which went through a major shift by the time we reached the 14-minute mark. Again, during the 9-minute Lord, that was a Lord that went to the hands of Team Liquid Philippines. That was when they were slowly and gradually able to take control of the map. But if you look closely towards the 14th-minute mark, that was actually when ONIC Philippines were able to pull off a team fight that were able to shift the tides in their favor. There were a couple of moments wherein it felt like there was almost nothing happening across the game, but that was just really both ONIC Philippines and both Team Liquid Philippines being very patient in terms of what they wanted to do next, because this was a game which initially felt like you could just go all out in terms of the Numenon Blast, in terms of the setups, in terms of throwing out the damage, since it came in early for the cores here of Team Liquid Philippines. It came in early for OHEB to dish out the necessary damage, but it was something, or it was a game that was prolonged long enough by ONIC Philippines, so it didn't necessarily matter, and it wasn't entirely about the team fights anymore. It was more about the decisions that could happen because they could play around with the map as well, given that they had the chip in their hands. And now, looking at the item progression, this is where I feel like I have a lot more key things to
MPL Philippines 7-year history wall. So this features the highlights that we've had sa loob ng 7 taon from 2018 to 2024 na nangyari sa history ng Pilipinas sa MLBB. And we have a fan here na mga kasama. Hello! What's your name?
My name is Zhao.
Joko. So, sa ating 7-year history, anong pinaka-paborito mo nangyari?
For me, yung year na pumasok yung Bren sa M2 Worlds, I think 2019 to 2020.
Pre-pandemic to pandemic, yan ang peak ng paglalaro mo ng ML. And up until now, you're here, ha? Sobrang masaya kami na we're sharing this floor with you. And bakit nga ba Bren lang malakas para sa'yo?
Favorite ko kasi si Deskripsi. So, at that season, medyo na-addict na ako sa ML.
Nung time na yun, ang bata pa ni Carl TZ, young goat talaga siya. And up until now, I assume na siya pa rin ang sinusuportahan mo, right?
Yes, I support Team Liquid for this season. Sobrang gusto ko yung play style nila.
Wow! So ngayon ay malinaw na malinaw, kahit di pa natin tanungin kung sino champion niya, TLPH para kay Joko. Thank you so much, Joko! And if you wanna visit our MPL Philippines 7-year history, madadaanan niyo siya bago kayo pumasok ng Champions Arena. See you around! We're here right now with the Infinix Fancy Laban champions for Season 2, the Cavalry! Hello, boys! Introduce yourselves, your IGN, and your role.
Echo, Mage. Roam po. Ayato sa X-Plane. Si Jungle. Good.
So for the second time around, sila ang nagkampiyon sa ating Infinix Fancy Laban, nakakatapos labang na ginanap dito sa MPL Playgrounds. So Echo, ano naman pakiramdam na 2-time champion na kayo?
Sobrang saya po.
Well, sobrang saya ngayon ni Echo. Ano ba yung preparations na ginawa nyo knowing na sasalang ulit kayo at nakaabot kayo ng championship?
Practice lang and then scrim sa mga ibang teams lang.
As so may mga ka-scrim din talaga kayo.
Naghahanap po kami.
Pero nakakalaro nyo ba yung pro team ng TLPH or sobrang busy nila?
Ibang MDL teams lang po.
Oh, MDL teams ang nakaka-scrim. So, ganun kayo kalakas. Nasasabay nyo yung mga MDL teams. Kumusta naman so far yung experience nyo dito sa MPL Playgrounds?
Sobrang saya din po. Nakaka-enjoy po siya sobra dahil sa mga boots po.
Ay, siguro naman. Alam natin kung sino magcha-champion para sa inyo. Oh, isang cheer naman para sa TLPH dyan.
1, 2, 3. Let's go, Liquid!
Okay. Energetic sila sa loob ng MLBB. Balik na muna sa inyo.
Thank you so much, your very own Odin, for giving us an insider of what's happening at the MPL PH Playgrounds. It's also jam-packed. We just saw the back-to-back champions of our Fansig Laban. And of course, she talked also about 7-year history of MPL. So far, what has been your favorite memory in the span of 7 years?
For me, I guess it's M5.
Oh, don't take mine. That's mine also.
We can chat. Like, oh, whoa, wait.
Oh! That's our clear head super fan of the day, and I believe he's also a singer here locally in the Philippines. And did you know that men like me get 5 times more dandruff versus women like her scalp? Use Clear Men with 3 times triple anti-dandruff power for 100% dandruff-free hair.
Because apparently no one understands men like Clear. So power up your dandruff scalp, supercharged with Clear. I can't believe that's real. His hair looks like it's straight out of an anime or something.
Yeah, fortunately it's good timing that Clear's entered the picture in the MPLC, because finally my hair has grown and I can finally use shampoo, just like our super fan there who had a very luscious hair.
Oh yeah, you gotta use shampoo so you could, of course, smell away the dandruff and smell good. Like Clear it got your back. So I hope you guys got some freebies if you did visit us here.
Yeah, but if you don't have hair and can't use Clear, you can still enjoy other stuff like Time Zone has an exclusive promo just for you. Get for 100 pesos. Power load for only 100 pesos.
All you have to do is register on the Time Zone Fun app, insert the promo code TZXMPL, you're seeing it right there, and leave a voucher at any of your favorite Time Zone venues. Don't miss out on this amazing deal.
You know, I love it when we have a lot of views, because that means we're really growing, and we're still not done, because you can get a 2,000 pesos discount on your next purchase by using the TT Racing X MPL Philippines exclusive voucher code MPL 2000 over at ttracing.ph.
Plus, don't miss out on exciting TT Racing gaming chair giveaways during MPL Philippines. Just stay tuned for more info.
Just remember, for those who dream, work, and play, TT Racing has your back. And now you really want to use that voucher code, because earlier they debuted an amazing collab with Naruto, and I have my eyes set on getting that Kakashi and Hans. Earlier on, I interviewed that the price actually went down, and with this code, you can get it at 12,999 pesos only. So that's steal, honestly.
That's for the Kakashi chair. There are other prices for the other chair, so you might want to check it out. I honestly miss sitting on a TT Racing chair, you know, but
you know, it's so durable that if you bring it up here, you will fall down.
We haven't tried, and maybe we shouldn't.
We shouldn't try. Heighten the rivalry of Oheb and Kelra that will get settled now.
And I saw the Baby Cakes duo there too, in terms of those standings. So they've already gotten a lot of kills throughout the M series, and they can still get more. But for now, Howard, the ending this season.
Will they be able to extend their tournament life? Match point for Team Liquid Philippines. And we have to call, of course. I don't have any more intros, Redmar, so please just jump in.
That in itself is an intro. I will count it. So Liquid going for the backshot Harris to start things off. Granger's gonna end up in the hands of ONIC. ONIC themselves banned out the Fredrin. Smart call considering that they prioritize the Joy. The Tower's gonna be safe. I think we're really gonna have to look at the Juicin Farsa trade, it seems like, for the two mid laners and what roamer it will be paired with. We might see some pullback to some favorites here, but considering there's a Harith on the other side, maybe Cho might not be the best bet for Brusco.
Stuff's happening too fast. The chip's still out there too. In case they might want to consider it, but for now they're going for the Granger. And yes, I know they mentioned the mid laners. I feel like that is something we have to watch and pay attention to later, but it seems like it's gonna be the flex for now. They're saving the mid lane matchup for the second phase.
I think the last time that Carl TZ used the Hayabusa this series, it was a 14-minute game. Could it be the same result? They also secured the backshot in the Harrods. So now, who will deal disrespect coming in the second banning phase?
I think it has to be Brusco. They still have to consider a Kufra ban, I believe. But the lineup of ONIC shows that Saji might end up with Selena again.
Yeah, there's also a Jushin that's still out there. Like, there are endless options still for the mid lane. That it might be wise to actually go for those heroes that can just limit whatever the Philippines can do, because they've been through that. The Hayabusa and the Harad definitely won't be having a good time if ever there's a Badang again on the lineup.
The thing about the draft right now for Liquid is if they want to pick up the Farsa, ONIC could very easily pick up a Gata Kacha in the roam for Brusco and or Kirk. Badang and the Gata Kacha both flex for both of them. So how is Liquid deciding to play into pick 4? I'm sure they're really thinking about the Gata Kacha and or the Kufra. They might take away one more mid laner so that the best possible mid laner remains for them, as Valentina is still on the board. Remember that. Take away the Theramis.
What are the chances that Super Prince decides to use the Selena, suggests coach, why not go all out?
Yeah, actually very possible for both. Possible for as a red 4 pick for Sanji, blue 4/5 for ONIC. Wait a minute. Angela. Oh, for Liquid. But it's not going to be on a backshot jungle if ever. It's going to be on a backshot roam. I don't think we're going to see an Angela here. CC Glue trade in the EXP still active. There's Glue.
Blue fourth pick for Santander. It's now ONIC Philippines. What's it gonna be for Super Prince?
Yeah. Super Prince still has a couple of options.
For Kirk, you guys mentioned the Gata Kacha. It could be a flex for both again. Badang and
They could bring back either a Valir or a Veil for him. Valentina, not a lot of options. Farsa would still be okay, but let's see. Oh, Selena. And Brusco will still go for the choke. They're going for pick-off. They're going for the crowd control. He ended up with it. Asanji did not pick it up.
what is with these mid-lane gods that when their backs against the wall, they want to use a harder mid-laner to pull off?
That's a good point.
And then we see this last.
Guys, we're about to lose. This game is so difficult. Let's go, Selena.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. They're keeping the... Nah, it's not them who used the Kimmy earlier, but they're the ones using it this time. Kimmy. Okay.
I'm honestly looking at 2 picks here. The Selena for ONIC, the Glue for Liquid.
I'm thinking about how the Kimmy is gonna fare in this game. It has to worry about the Joy. It has to worry about the Madang. Joey said it might be forced to bring out a Purify when it comes to it.
I mean, that's why they gave her a jetpack that she can fly with now. It is safer and she deals damage along with it.
So there you go.
Match
Seeing
point.
even Oheb with the Purify.
Purifies here for TLPH. Match point for them. Is it gonna be Team Liquid Philippines crawling back to the lower bracket to regain their crown? Let's see as we enter Game 6 of the Grand Finals. Casters, take it away.
And once again, we jump into the lands of dawn. It's match point right now for Team Liquid Philippines. Will we see a Game 7?
The golden rivalry, the pride from Hasta Pinas. The world is watching. This could be it.
Match point. One win away against the Cavalry. For the emblems. Double boots for Kurt. Let's go.
Brusco forced to flicker out. Sanji, relentless. Do they want to do this? Friends forced to dash in to protect his roamer.
That's too close for comfort, man.
Way too close. Oh, Kara. No shadow kill just yet for Carl He's still level 3. Brusco and Super Friends willingly took that trade. 2 flickers burned though by ONIC, 1 on the Cho, 1 on the Granger.
Liquid are firing off on all cylinders. Barely a minute in.
That just, I mean, dealing with Kimmy like this just feels bad. Oh,
JP forced to use to revitalize. Just 1 HP and a dream. Does not survive. King Kong comes in, draws first blood.
you gotta do something, and they catch JP. Oh!
Carl Teasy finds a better target though, scoring 1 on Kelra.
They get the god and the gold laid down quickly. JP fell in mid, but Liquid got the more favorable trade.
And it went, both junglers have a kill here, so, you know, but ultimately that's what happened. It all started with burning those flickers you mentioned earlier on, Redmar. So, again, this is the downside of dealing with a Kimmy. The poke is great there, especially paired up with this Baksha. And again, it's going to be that tanky kind of front line that ONIC Philippines has to deal with when they approach these objectives. First turtle of the game is now up. This is going to be a little bit difficult. Brusco not level 4 though.
Sanford's going to hit level 4 first. He will have grab.
Carl Teasy catches that arrow with his face. Sanford now threatening a grab. Spacing on Kirk, spacing on Friends. In comes King Kong. JP misses. Retribution. Not needed because Kirk will secure JP. And Sanford very low. A trap going down Sanji. Down goes Dad. Sanford caught between a rock and a hard place. Finds the grab on the Brusco. Oh, he's circling around the super fam. They are not going to do good things to him.
Yeah, Sanford's got nowhere to go.
40! He's trapped.
He's trapped.
Nowhere else.
He's just buying time.
That's it. I mean, for that kill, not for the game. I'm not saying like that's it for the game. But
It's the equivalent of having good cardio in an MMA match.
exactly. Kirk saving ONIC. You know, I've never been a fan of the Kirkitech name, but I have always admired the Kirkitech game, and he came in just in time with that flicker. Fist bump, fist crack, fist break, all the fists right in the key targets, and Carl Teasy was able to get his retribution off in time, but it was difficult considering that he had to shadow out away from the pressure that Brusco was dealing onto him. And when Carl Teasy got in, it was just a second too late. It was Kirk who miraculously got the last hit.
Yep, so a little bit of a lead here for ONIC Philippines right now. Nothing too major though just yet, so TLPH will go ahead and continue to farm up the way they need. And now that you have Brusco on the level 4, now that he has the Way of the Dragon ultimate available, you could go for some pick-off potential. Now paired up with the Abyssal Arrows, those are also something that can work around ONIC Philippines game plan. It's go for picks, see if you can isolate someone down, and then scale up. And that's already happening for King Kong, having those 2 early kills on this Joy. And like we mentioned, there's Brusco.
JP thought he caught Brusco, but instead he caught an arrow and a trap, slowing down and breaking ONIC's formation.
Slowing down, a key phrase here, with the Abyssal Arrows getting tossed out by Super Friends, stopping what JP wants to do on the map, to get in the good position, to get in a surprise flank angle. Carl Teasy steals away. A rock golem away from King Kong.
A game of inches. Carl Teasy is slowly but surely creeping up, getting more value than King Kong, and those things add up.
Turtles up here once again. Second second one. Sanford will go ahead and just try to keep Kirk at bay this time. He'll spawn out King Kong as well. 40 damage.
Gets a grab on the Kirk. Gets him closer a little bit to Liquid. JP going hunting. Jumps one. Got one more in the tank. Gonna let that one go. Slow take here. Goes, bumps right into Kelra. Dodges an arrow.
Oh, JP could be in trouble. Pops to revitalize, but it's too much damage.
Salmon Force dropped in by OM. But ONIC do not want to take this fight. Another arrow thrown out by Super Prince. The coast is clear. Men all around. Just waiting. Which one's gonna pull the trigger first and take the turtle?
Yeah, okay. JP got caught out there, but wait. Oh, Sanji. Sidestepping. You mentioned a game of inches there earlier. That arrow almost landed. Let's see if TL. No, it doesn't look like Carl will be able to get here in time. Another free turtle for Liquid as Carl and OF go up top.
They might just try to trade up top. Kelra burning the flicker. So again, that's something down, but objective going to the hands here. Second turtle to ONIC Philippines. King Kong will secure that. The fight though for the
Oh, King Kong kept his retribution. The confidence in the face of Sanford. Committing grant that purple. Called easy. He's starving here. And this fight's about to break out. Sanford, grab the King Kong. Brusco down goes Frizz. Carl Easy gets a kill. And they're not done. Sanji firing away. JP pops the push Suns. Brusco at about half health. Kirk goes for the crack.
Here's Kelra taking a shot off, but there they disengage even with Kirk finding a few and then burning the flicker. So they go ahead and just reset after that.
It's a small consolation as Sanford was able to get the right grab to ensure that Super Prince would get taken down. But the Hayabusa of Kartizi does not have his purple buff as King Kong, as mentioned, saved the retribution. They invaded, and now Liquid have to find a way to recover. Thing is, the only way to recovery might be through brute force.
Seems that way, and playing around this kind of pick-off potential, TLPH. We'll see what they can get, but also you look at it across the lanes there, it's relatively even. You know, they've been doing their, hold on, JP too. He's gonna be fine taking enough, but they've been doing their due diligence to go ahead and maintain as much as they can, and you notice in a lot of these fights and the objectives where Kelra will go ahead and swing down quicker to join them, because you know that Granger's going to be really important to them earlier on to have that physical damage because of this kind of lineup. Because even if you get the Bedang combo off, you got to be able to have that follow through damage. And sometime, mid lane,
Super Prince got 40 on him. It's going to be enough. Oh, kept in place by Kirk, and now underneath here too. Up top, Kelra gets bumped by Oheb and JP. The Salmon Force still active. Brusco might regret this. Arrow thrown out. No one home. Another grab by Kirk. Down goes Brusco. Oheb is bloodthirsty. Kill one gets a triple. Kirk looking to punish. Oheb gets some shields. Synchro fishing through. Dashing out. Picking this fight. Salmon Force still on cooldown. Inside the base. It just came off of cooldown. Gave over a kill to Kirk. The shutdown.
The value for Oheb and the triple there.
Massive play for Oheb. Lord still goes to King Kong.
Carl Easy hesitated. Who was that?
A hesitation on the retreat.
I don't think he saw King from the off angle, and literally King is dashed in retreat, and now Carl Easy has all the regrets.
That's Grand Theft Turtle right there.
Highway robber.
That's just,
Joseph, somebody better call the cops.
somebody get somebody, because right now they're going to get a turret off of that too. Objectives are still building up for ONIC and Brusco, checking things out. So even with whatever OM was able to pull off there, ultimately they still have a lot of ground to cover from not letting this thing, this game and this lead slip out of their hands.
A major story thread that underlines our playoffs is redemption. King Kong.
Underneath here too. Down bottom. The Salmon Force not enough to keep Oheb and JP alive. ONIC just ran through them.
Oh, you can see the confidence building here for ONIC Philippines. They want that game 7. It was a flicker.
Yeah, Prince flickered. He thought he could get a quick abyssal arrow off to stun Carl Easy. Liquid still holding on to the turret in mid.
Sanford holding out, pushing back the rest of ONIC, gets the grab onto Kirk. Oh, but now Kelra dashes forward, almost takes out 40.
Oh, ONIC getting closer and closer. to forcing game number 7 to leave it to a best of 1 to defend their throne. But this game is not over yet. 3,500. OHEB's at level 10. Kelra's at level 12. OHEB doesn't have the Holy Crystal just yet. It's going to take quite some time. While Kelra already up to a Malefic Roar and I believe a Wind of Nature or Sea Halberd. Damage for ONIC, much better.
JP finds the angle, forces the puissance from JP. That was the point of no return. Calls easy. Shadow. Sanji gets bombed by King Kong. Kelra looking to fire back. And Sanford, the Salmon Burst from OHEB, ineffective.
That's a whole lot for ONIC again as they continue to stack on the lead. Carl Teasy still up, but Kirk and Brusco will keep him at bay as long as they can. Shadow Q gonna be used, so Kirk is gone.
Oh, Kelra looking at the Baby Cakes duo. Kelra be hungry. Forcing his up before stashing through that wall. That was close. Kelra is a man possessed. He just wants to keep going.
I am both equally mesmerized and terrified by the god that Kelra has become in the gold lane. 5-2-0, but it's not just all Kelra. We have to credit King Kong and his efforts. Brusco, Friends, Kirk, everyone on the side of the Super Fam has showed up when their throne is at most threatened. They hold on, and they are playing one of the best games they've played all series long. The entries on point, the man marking, the pickoffs, everything. But can they finish it here? Or will Liquid somehow defend?
This is like one of those moments that we saw from TLPH when they had this kind of lead. There's Brusco
Jumping in with the flicker, gets that kick on the 40. Salmon Force dropped in by OM, not gonna be enough. He goes down, Kelra gets a double. Shadow kill by Carl Deasy, fails to find anyone. ONIC, scatheless.
Oh, they could still go ahead and punch on in, and arrow's gonna land, but ultimately, they just want these turrets. We'll see that they still hold on to all base turrets right now. Some of the shields are popped. Super Prince will disengage. Kelra's here. We'll see if they can still cap this one out. An arrow's gonna land, but ultimately the shields keep things together. King Kong will go ahead and back off, so TLPH is okay. They are facing a huge deficit, 8,000 gold, but they stay in the game.
Everything about the lineup of ONIC screams instant gratification at this point. Press ultimate once or twice, burst. Too much for Team Liquid to handle. While the damage output of Team Liquid at this point, again, they're playing around the Kimmy in the mid lane. Yes, the Harith, still on the way to Holy Crystal, not quite there yet in the damage. Will deal a lot of damage. It's like there's a process to it. It's more complicated to play the game that Team Liquid wants to play. Well, ONIC can just toss out an Abyssal Arrow, tell King Kong go in, pop your ultimate, tell Kelra, who is so far away from the action, to just toss out the Death Sonata. It's so much easier right now for ONIC, and they have an almost 10,000 gold lead. This is going to be a massive crawl for Liquid and an easy end for ONIC, if ever.
The damage under the turret, they're going to break down.
Salmon Force dropped in already by OM. Oh, King Kong dies on the Sanji. OM does take out Brusco, but is that going to be the shadow kill? Carl Teasy takes down King Kong. Liquid's first win in quite a while, and it comes at the cost of their top lane inhibitor.
18 seconds before the Lord spawns, 27 until King Kong gets back. The minion waves do not look good for Liquid. As Super Friends Kelra and Kirk can hold on here. Liquid cannot blitz anything at this point. They have to play for the dance.
But a chance is a chance. It looks like Liquid is willing to take it. There's not enough of a frontline nor a backline damage source to threaten OM, to threaten Liquid.
Well, they know King Kong's not back up just yet, so they might go for the blitz here. JP up on the front side, gonna try to keep Kirk at bay.
Prince still throwing out these arrows. Carl Deasy got hit by one. JP goes. The retribution, the shadow kill. Carl Deasy secures. Gets taken out by Kelra. Liquid PH getting on out of here. The coast is clear, but Liquid might not be able to back out. Brusco takes out out.
Mana? Mana? Laboti tadi kan tiga. Berapa? Berapa? 37. Siapa? Agak sama-sama. Banyak malam ini. 3, 4.
Clear, but Liquid might not be able to back out. Brusco takes out OM. Lord spawns.
Oh, Sanji's still up, but Sanford's gonna have to sacrifice himself. They might have to, but they're wiped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, it all over the world. It is my pleasure to say we're going all the way.
Game number 7 for immortality. It falls down to one last one between the gods of the game and Team Liquid.
We wouldn't have it any other way. We're going to have to throw it over to the panel, Brigida and Ingan, to break down this Game 6.
The race for the first one to raise the Immortal Cup. Down to one game. Oh my goodness. Again, the Selena from Super Friends. Everything just piling up for the Sonics. What's it gonna be? 4 rings, 4 championships for Carl and JP, or the third team to go back-to-back for the Super Fam. And we have our MVP of that game, no other than the Bruiser himself, Brusco.
How many times have we seen the flicker Jeet Kune Do's, the flicker way of the dragons from Brusco, which just throw off Team Liquid Philippines and all of their plans, which just suddenly force them to back away and worry about all the follow-up abyssal arrows that can also come in, the follow-up damage from King Kong that can also come in. Brusco has said so much of how this game has turned out from the very beginning. He reminded us of how he was able, or how he's just able to play the Zhao.
That was not just a reminder, more than a reminder, it was a statement for not just TOPH, but for all of the people watching, that the Bruiser has got it. Whatever you want, the Madang, the Zhao, even the Angela, he can pull it off. And the Super Fam again. You know, this is the second consecutive time that the grand finals of MPL Philippines finally reached a Game 7.
This guy, he's done so much. We did mention all of the setups. We did mention all of the interruptions that he's been able to offer. But beyond that, I feel this lead wouldn't have ballooned to this point if it weren't for his consistent denial of Carl TZ and a peaceful jungling in the early stages of the game. He limited Carl TZ so much, who, by the way, seems to be up there. He seems to be ahead in terms of how quick he's just able to get all that XP, level up, and actually contest the turbo jungling patterns we know of King Kong even. But Brusco did so much in terms of stopping him in doing that. And that just denied Team Liquid Philippines of playing aggressively as much as they wanted to. They had the Paksha, they had the Hayabusa, they had the Glue. These heroes, they could just all go in at the same time. But how could you go in? How could you be confident to go in if you know that you are so much behind?
Yeah, and how can you go in? Because at any given moment, Kirk with the Madang can turn things around with one fist break, fist crack combo that he clearly utilized to their advantage. Second 14-minute game, done in a flash, a 28-kill scoreboard. An amazing win for ONIC Philippines. And I'm speechless. These guys came prepared, did not disappoint. Whatever happens, whoever wins will deserve the first ever Immortal Cup in S15 of MPL Philippines. And what can you say about that?
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard-fought battle between these two teams for the last game we'll be seeing. But this sums it up. Only 4 purple buffs have went into the hands of Carl TZ for the entire 14 minutes we've seen in that game, and 5 to 8 also is the score for the orange buffs that they were able to secure throughout. So just brings us back to, yes, we didn't see King Kong perform this well on the toy earlier, but this is him redeeming himself. This is him bringing it back, whereas this is Carl TZ being completely shut down from that beautiful Hayabusa game we also saw from him earlier. And I feel it's not just Carl. You, as Carl, would follow through whatever JP and Sanford are able to do, but whenever they actually tried to do something, it felt less in sync. It felt like ONIC Philippines were just able to deal the necessary damage towards JP, constantly shutting him down, and Sanford was left to tank everything all alone, so that wasn't that wasn't like the best scenario if you were Team Liquid Philippines.
Yeah, one of the things I think, or sequences that showed that they weren't as in sync was the OM outplay down at the top lane, where he was able to outplay and bought enough time for TLPH, but the problem was King Kong just slithered in and was able to retrieve the third turtle away from TLPH.
That was such a massive play done there by King Kong too, by the way. And if you see the BPI Rich guy in front of your screens, in this 14-minute game, it's going to be Kellra with a 991 GPM. We don't get to see these numbers.
Yeah.
I feel like yesterday we did see 1,000, but that was the only one we saw throughout the entire playoffs, and now this is close to 1,000 in the hands of Kellra. So you know that he's just had such a great time in playing this Granger. He's just standing in front of everyone and throwing out the Rhapsody.
Yeah, and you should also stand in front of everyone, Brigida, because it's your time to shine. Take it away.
So we are indeed going all the way. So we have another game to break down for you as we head into this segment. Now we start off with the gold difference timeline. So this was the point in the game where it was, I say, slightly in favor of Team Liquid Philippines. That was around the first minute mark, and that was the only time I'd be able to say that, because this was the moment wherein they traded Kellra for JP, and that was the most favorable exchange we've seen in that game, because everything went downhill for Team Liquid Philippines from that point onwards. Again, we did mention that the pressure coming in from Brusco was just too much. They were consistent in terms of denying Karl-TZ of his farming, of the way he's just able to secure his buffs freely. It almost always happens that whenever they go for the turtle, which, mind you, all went into the hands of ONIC, they're just able to quickly transition towards the purple buff as well, and that greatly denies Karl-TZ of whatever he wants to do. And this has been a consistent trend, allowing the gold lead to grow up to 8K when we approach the 11-minute mark. And the 11-minute mark I'm talking about right now is just 3 minutes before we actually wrapped up the entire game. So you just see that this was a clean game pulled off by ONIC Philippines. You may consider it to be another glitch because this is the second game we saw in less than 15 minutes, but these are just games that are cleanly executed by our teams, and that barely allowed for any room from Team Liquid Philippines to actually fight back. It was just 2 turrets that they were able to get away from ONIC Philippines, and you couldn't do as much. You could barely operate when almost the entire map is covered, when your buffs are constantly being denied from you, and this is a Hayabusa. You definitely want to get your hands on those buffs. You definitely want the space so the Baksha could just hunt down the opponent, so he could just look for the targets, and so that Sanford as well on the glue could just provide the continuous zoning. But this wasn't the case, clearly not. It was a struggle as well for Sanji to do things in this game on the Kimi. It was a Kimi game wherein he had to worry about the Selena, the Joy, and that we mentioned too before heading into this game, and it was just tough. It was rough for Sanji overall. Now, if we were to look at the item progressions for our players here in this game, all throughout, you could definitely observe how quick it was for the other members to just rack up on the necessary items. Karl-TZ, he took some time before he was able to get his 4 items, and that was probably what limited them so much. Another key item pickup here from Brusco definitely was the early Radiant armor that they were able to secure, because majority of the damage that will come in from the side of Team Liquid Philippines, granted that they were already able to deny Karl-TZ much of his farming, was gonna come in from Sanji. But Sanji prioritizing the concentrated energy, well respected too, that there is just too much damage that has to be sustained. There's just he needs just more and more avenues to keep himself in the game, to keep himself alive, and this was clearly a struggle. This wasn't the best scenario for Team Liquid Philippines in terms of the way that they drafted. And how many times does a Selena just shake things up like that? When we saw Sanji on the Selena, it was great for Team Liquid. Now that we see them against the Selena and in Super Friends' hands, it was too good for ONIC Philippines.
It's becoming an X-Factor pick for our top mid laners so far, not just in the grand finals, but even the whole playoffs. We even saw Few rock with the Selena, and it was perfect for them. And now, Brigida, best of 7. We are in game number 7. So who's gonna win it? It's gonna be ONIC Philippines versus Team Liquid Philippines. And at this point, whatever happens, happens.
Tour dahil ito rin naman ang pupuntahan ng ating mga players after ng ating championship. So, you can see here the road to Esports World Cup wall. Makikita natin ang trophy, of course, ang ating representatives of the Philippines. We have here sa MWI Navi PH and Team Liquid. They are the representatives from the recently concluded Athena League. And on the other side is MSC. Ang representatives natin ay ang ONIC Philippines and Team Liquid Philippines na ngayon ay nagkaharap sa ating Grand Finals ng MPL Philippines Season 15. Isang tanong, isang sagot. Sino ang champion for MPL Philippines S15?
LPH po.
Who's your MPL PH Season 15 champion?
Of course, the LPH. Yes.
Your MPL PH Season 15 champion?
The LPH.
ONIC. Your grand champion for the season?
ONIC.
And back to where we started, this is MPL Playgrounds na nakasama namin kayo sa loob ng 5 araw dito sa MPL Playoffs. I hope na-enjoy nyo lahat ng inanda naming activities para sa inyo. Mula sa meet and greet kasama ang inyong paboritong players and teams, papunta sa team showcase na hinanda ng ating mga super fans sa mga palaro at mga prizes. And even nakapag-uwi sana kayo ng mga paborito nyong merch from your favorite team sa ating merch booth and sa ating mga freebies galing sa ating mga sponsors like Infinix, Smart, BPI, TT Racing, Clear, Nor, and Time Zone. So I hope nag-enjoy rin kayo at maraming natutunan sa ating watch party hangout with bengbeng as well as ang ating GG Truck watch party. We can't wait na maghanda pa ng marami para sa inyo dito lamang sa MPL Playground. This is your very own Odin. Balik muna sa inyo, Champions Arena.
Thank you so much, Odin, for giving us another preview of what's happening with the playgrounds so far. A lot of people from the playgrounds are actually voting for TLPH. There are actually liquid girlies out there.
Yeah, and even a lot of the guests we had here in the Champions Arena, they did predict for Team Liquid Philippines, but this is ONIC Philippines putting up a really good fight. They are looking to defend their championship and prove that they're just really up there. You know, like everyone, the entire world, they just have their eyes on ONIC Philippines.
Yeah, they're the team to beat for a very long while now, ever since the start of latter half of 2024. And now they're on the verge of becoming the third team to be back-to-back champs. You know, Kelra's journey has been amazing. Started out, we could safely say a bit of immature, but now you can see his maturity pop up, and at the same time his excellence also show out from being an uncrowned king to finally becoming a champion last season and can become a back-to-back champ. But on the other hand, Carl TC JP securing their 4th title.
Yeah,
man, are they the best ones to lead right now?
We'll find the numbers, especially once the series is over. But imagine that we're on our 3rd best of 7 so far in the entire history of MPL Philippines. That includes Season 7, Season 14,
and today,
Season 15. That's this season. So it's only been the 3rd time wherein we see a full game 7. And what's funny is that in all of those games, game 7s, Kelra has to be part of it. Every single time.
Every single time. Again, the first one was Blackness versus Execration, and of course Aurora versus ONIC, and now TLPH versus ONIC. And 2 out of 3 times also, I believe, OHEB was there. So battle-tested warriors are gunning it out today. Again, the heated rivalry between the 2 gold laners, OHEB and Kelra, still in action right now. Will be settled in reinforcements because the We Bear Pros, they're gonna be with us right now.
Oh, we're calling everyone. So that's the watch party that's happening all across the Philippines. By the way, Ingan, I hope everyone was able to catch wherever these watch parties are happening right now, because like we have one in Luzon.